Three contractors are bidding to fix a broken fence at the White House. One's from Chicago, another from Tennessee, and the third is from Minnesota. All three go to the White House and they examine the fence. The Minnesota contractor takes out his tape measure and does some measuring, works up some figures with pencil, and he says, I can do that job for $900, $400 for materials, $400 for my crew, and $100 profit for me. The Tennessee contractor also does some measuring and figuring and says, I can do this job for $700, $300 for me, $300 for my crew, and $100 profit for me. The Chicago contractor doesn't measure anything. He leans over to the White House official and whispers, $2,700. The White House official says, you didn't even measure like the other guys. How'd you come up with such a high figure? The contractor from Chicago whispers back, 1,000 for me, 1,000 for you, and we hired the guy from Tennessee to fix the fence. Done. That, my friends, is how the new stimulus plan will work. My fellow Toastmasters, what I want to show you in just a few minutes has nothing to do with any political party, but our entire federal government. We cannot be divided by these three facts, but rather we must unite to change and change quickly before it's too late. Fact number one, our lawmakers have gone from being financially savvy to bankrupting not only the federal government, but each one of us. As you can see, the growing gap between the federal revenues and spending, most markedly since 2000, has grown enormous. What would the bank do if you spent 10% more than what you earned in 1 year, in 5 years, 10 years? You're right. You'd never get past the first year, would you? Federal spending is out of control, and especially this doesn't even include the stimulus payments that the government has done, not once, but twice this year. It's crazy, out of control. If you look at our overall debt as a share of gross domestic product, we're almost to the point of World War II debt. Now, the good news is that you see after World War II, the debt did go down, so it's possible. But right now, the debt stands at $27 trillion, nearly $28 trillion. That's $83,749 for every American citizen. That doesn't seem responsible. Fact number two, politics has now become a great career choice. If you look at the base salary of Congress, and I know it has not risen, it's been frozen for a number of years, but the base salary for either someone in the House of Representatives or the Senate is $174,000 for 165 days of work in the Senate and 147 days of work in the House. In contrast, the average American works 223 days annually for a salary, an average of $51,916. Does something seem wrong with that to you? 50% of Congress members are millionaires. Only 10% of the average American is a millionaire. And as you can see from the chart, it used to be in the old days, the really old days, that a congressman or someone in the House of Representatives only spent 2 to 4 years of their lives doing this and serving the public. Now the average is more like 10 to 12 years. Well, why wouldn't it be? I could make $174,000 a year. Fact number three, politicians have moved from being noble to being unethical. This is a chart of alleged misconduct, and if you look at those who are actually censured or removed from office because of this kind of activity, the chart really doesn't look very different. As you can see, in 1790, not too many people had problems with ethics or other crimes. Had a little blip around the Civil War, but look at what we are at in 2010. Not so great. Doesn't seem like the people that we have serving us are really serving us. All of this was predicted in the ancient writing on which our country was based. Listen to this quote. If politicians go to the administration of public affairs, poor and hungering after their own private advantage, thinking that hence they are to snatch the chief good, order there can never be, for there will be fighting about office, and the civil and domestic broils which thus arise will be the ruin of the rulers themselves and the whole state. That's from Plato's Republic. Well, the good news is that our founding fathers actually built into the Constitution a fix for this, because they knew that there'd be a possibility that the government would never allow any sort of amendment that would help the people not be oppressed. Thank you, George Mason. Article 5 of the Constitution allows for either 2/3 of both congressional houses to pass legislation, or 2/3 of states in a state convention. We have the ability to amend the Constitution for things like a balanced budget and term limits. One radical activist said, whenever any form of government becomes destructive of the ends of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. That radical was Thomas Jefferson. Ronald Reagan often said the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." What happened at the Capitol was horrifying, illegal, and the wrong way to change things. We should expect elected officials to be financially responsible, ethical, and not in politics to help themselves. This is bigger than a buffoon or a senile president. Is it we the people or we the sheeple? Yeah, I'm done. But when there's silence, that means I'm done with the speech.